I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, March the 19th, brought to you in part by New Generation Supplements, makers of Smart Lick. Been in business for 27 years. New Generation Supplements mineral fortified supplements are nutritionally engineered to deliver the nutrients that enhance reproductive performance and forage utilization, no matter what season it is. For more information, go to newgensupplements.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, expecting around 4,800 for this week's sale. Their feeder sale here on Tuesday. They're expecting 800 to 1,000 head of calves. They'll mostly be light calves and mostly all be weaned. 3 to 6 weights for the most part. About 3,200 yearlings. In the load lots, they're expecting about 500 yearling heifers from 600 to 900 pounds selling in loads, and about 2,000 head of yearling steers weighing 6 up to 11 be selling in load lots. Then near 1,000 head of light grazing yearlings, and they'll be in smaller groups and odd sized groups there. But those cattle will have a lot of value to them and a lot of go to them if you're interested in some light grazing yearlings. For the cow sale on Wednesday, expecting 300 to 400 head, and in that cow sale, including in that, will be 2 consignments of near 50 head of young bred cows. So if you're interested in that, get on to DVAuction.com. Check out Beaver County Stockyards both today, Tuesday, for their feeder and calf sale, and on Wednesday for the cow sale. Runaway market. And I tell you what, we are absolutely seeing a runaway market, and I don't say that lightly, but with the fat cattle developments that happened at the tail end of the week last week, where we'd kind of seen your packers really push hard to try to stop the market. Then on Friday morning, they just wanted cattle, and so they started calling their feedlots that would sell them spot market cattle there early in the morning on Friday, and then sending the trucks right away, and then having a pretty big Saturday after no one was expecting any kind of a Saturday. They have tipped their hand now that they've got to have product, or the box beef cutout value market has gotten high enough where they want to sell some product there. So they're having to get in there, and to get the high cuts, the high retail cuts, they've got to get those domestically. Now we've seen that our imports have increased dramatically here of late since prices have gotten so higher. Year-to-date beef imports are up 38%, with imports from Australia being up 128% year-to-date compared to a year ago, and Brazil up 48%. So they're getting a lot of grinding product, but they're not going to get those high quality, expensive rib cuts from overseas. They have to get that here locally, and so they are having to dig in and get cattle, and that just kind of, like I said, it really tipped the packers' hand on what they're wanting to do, what they're needing to do. And we've been saying, you know, somebody was going to have to blink here to get more cattle. They're going to have to give more money, and they're going to have to come out and bid on those cattle. And then we had feedlots selling those cattle, and we're just over $1 from our all-time record high price on your weighted average, guys. So we're getting pretty high on this runaway market. CME cash feeder cattle index went past $250 based on an 800-pound cash steer. Of course, it's always trying to run down your real-time index, which has been over 250 for about a week here, but that's significant when you see that. Our calf and grazer markets, stocker markets, all-time new highs again every time they have sales. Pretty much every day they're all-time record highs, and we're just continuing to see this market just run away and run away and run away. Now, what could happen? Cattle on feed estimates have come out here for a Friday release. Inventory for March the 1st, they've got at a 100.8. So that's not a whole lot different. It's hard to believe on how extremely tight our market ready supplies are, and extremely tight our cattle of all classes are, how we continue to have more cattle on feed than we did the year before. But I'm scared of this cattle on feed report, guys. Your placements, if you remember, I called bullshit to the placements for January because they were so tight because the storms had most of your auction markets closed. There were no cattle moving direct, and they still come out with a lot bigger placements than what they had even estimated, and what they had estimated was more than what I thought. Well, now we're going to catch up. You know how big our runs have been, just at Joplin Regional Stockyards in February. They've been humongous. But every sale barn's been running big receipts. Of course, the market is bringing those cattle to town too. But our placements for February, they've got them at 106.3. That is extremely high. But I think if we're truthful about it, I think it's more than that. I think it's significantly more than that. But they've got their placement range, the average and the analyst guess, from 102.7 to 108.8. I think it could be bigger than that. They may not quote it as big as what it really is. I mean, I don't know. It's so frustrating to have a drum roll and pull back a cape every month for this cattle on feed report, and then spend all weekend worrying about what it's going to do to your markets. But our marketings for February, they've got them cranked up pretty big at 103.9. So we'll see whether that comes to fruit or not. But let's talk about what's going on with your board. For Monday to open the week, April live cattle futures up 132 at 188.57. June was up $1.80. Even the board knows what's going on out here with this runaway market. June was up 180 at 185.40. Back months on live cattle futures up 70 to up 172. Feeder cattle for March up 192 at 251.20. April up 297 at 255.10. And your back months were up really big, up $2 to up 312. Be peeking at those strike prices to get LRPs on your grazing cattle, guys, if you haven't already done it. Don't let this market get away from us. We're in an election year. What could happen? A lot of different things could happen, guys. Check them out. I know they're expensive, but my gosh, you're making such good money on those cattle. Lock them in. Let's talk about your grains. May corn down 3/4 cent a bushel at 4.36. May beans down 10.5 at 11.87 3/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for May up 7.5 cents a bushel at 5.73 3/4. Your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade out of your 5-area feeding region, they sold 69,700 last week compared to 61,000 the previous week and 59,600 the same week a year ago. Live price on fat steers and heifers in the 5 area ranged from 181 to 190, which was $3 higher. Your weighted average, by the time we got them all rounded up, was a little more than the last we heard. It was 187.47. That's up 235 compared to the previous week's weighted average. Good gains there, where your packers middle to late week were doing everything they could but pull a knife to try to keep fat cattle prices from getting any higher, and it didn't work. And then they finally just had to tip their hand and show how desperately they wanted the cattle late week after we'd already established our market and made it even higher. Dress trade from 294 to 301 in the northern plains there, and your weighted average on dress steers was 298.06, up 467 compared to the previous week. Wow. Your overall market in the southern plains was $1 higher at 186. We did have some 185 on Thursday, then it turned into 186 almost completely, especially on Friday. Northern plains $2 to $3 higher from 187 to 189, and dress sales from steady to as much as $6 higher from 295 to $3. Now nationwide negotiated, we sold 82,900, which is not a bad movement. It compares to 76,400 the previous week and 76,300 same week a year ago, so we outdid that. Of the 82,900, about 20% of them were for the 15 to 30 day delivery, but they'll never hang on that long. They'll call for them early, guys. Negotiated grid sales last week totaled up to be 44,800. Forward contracts 67,700. That continues to grow all the time, but there's no, that's just because we got the biggest market out in front of us all the time. So they're trying to limit people's gains there, and people keep falling for it. Formula sales 279,900. Pretty big movement there last week of all kinds, all different classifications of sales there. But your negotiated is what really matters. And of your 4 out of 5 regions that we get information from, last week Iowa sold 29,100. That's about normal for them. Nebraska 24,700. That's still pretty respectable for them. Kansas 10,800 sales last week. That's about normal for them. But Texas was light at just 5,000 head. Box beef cutout values were higher. On Monday, 313.33 up $1.43, pretty good gain there early in the week. Select sales up 65 cents at 303.05. Your slaughter $120 or 120,000 head. That's a lot better than what we've seen here of late on a Monday. Usually they've been starting out here since they've been pulling back on the chains with like a 111 or 116, but 120. That's not your 124 or 5 that we would like to see, but it's not terrible. And I think it's just more signs that the Packers need product. Talk about what else is going on. Kansas Regenerative Medical Center. Kansas RMC's focus is on arthritis and orthopedic issues for your joints, back, and neck. 60% of their patients are farmers, ranchers, and cattlemen, people. So check into it yourself at kansasrmc.com. I want to talk about our Market of the Month. We feature a Market of the Month every month, and it's for the market that's just done kind of an overachieving type of a job, marketing cattle for their producers, being a good sale in their region there. And the Market of the Month for this month is Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota. Tell you what, my buddy Jared Herman there has taken over that sale within the last year or so, doing a really, really good job, and then also managing the sale in Cherokee, Oklahoma. But he's kept some main people in place there in Mitchell, South Dakota, at Mitchell Livestock. They've done an excellent job of marketing their product. They've had some special sales, special Hereford influence sale that caused a lot of interest there. But good, congratulations to Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota. Let's talk about our feeder cattle markets. Real-time index on DVAuction late in the day on Monday, sitting at 252.32, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states. That was up another 15 cents. So being up 15, you think, oh, that's not a big gain. It is from Monday because we have so many big commodity type cattle sales on a Monday and in the Southern Plains, and they tend to pull down on our weighted average a little bit because it's not the big fancy strings of cattle that we have in the Northern Plains, even though we had some of those too. But impressive real-time index there. Like I mentioned earlier, your CME cash feeder cattle index blew by 250. Latest available is down 250.86. I want to tell you about a feeder cattle auction that you don't want to miss. It's coming up here tonight on Tuesday evening. It's the Abingdon Feeder Cattle Association's Virginia Quality Assurance calf sale. And all these calves are programmed. They're all being marketed in load lots. They've got 18 loads, some grazing cattle, and then some feeding calves on there. But they've all been minimum weaned to 45 days and all through complete health program and with third-party verification. My buddy Butch Foster, who I call the Bob Wills Virginia Cattle Marketing there, he's going to be on that sale, and he'll be hollering in the back and carrying on. But get on to that sale, check it out, especially if you're over on the eastern seaboard, Indiana, Ohio feeders, especially you Pennsylvania feeders. You guys know about that. But check that sale out. It's going to be here today, Tuesday evening, March 19th at 7 o'clock Eastern on DVAuction. Get on there a little early, get approved View and bid that sale at DVAuction.com if you're looking for some really top quality feeder cattle. Talk about your big sales on Monday. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City had 6,300 head. Talk about a runaway market. Feeder steers were $2 to $6 higher. Biggest feeder steers weighing over 9 were about steady. Feeder heifers were steady to $5 higher. And then your stockers and calves were $5 to $15 higher. Stick out sale in Oklahoma City. National Livestock Commission sold 82 steers, weighed 6 1/4 at $314 in Oklahoma City, guys. Big time price. How about Joplin Regional Stockyards? They were estimating 7,000 head for Monday, and they end up selling over 9,300 cattle. That is just unbelievable when you have nearly 2,500 cattle show up that you didn't know were coming. That's more than most of them have when they start. How about your steers in Joplin were steadied as much as $8 higher. Some of your peewee 4-weights were as much as $25 higher. Heifers were kind of unevenly mixed there, from $5 lower to $3 higher. But a really good sale there at Joplin Regional Stockyards, and they just continue to grow and grow and grow. How about Russell Livestock Market in Russell, Iowa? They had 3,700 head. Compared to 2 weeks ago, your market was $5 to $12 higher on steers. Spots sharply higher. Heifers were $3 to $8 higher, and spots sharply higher there. Russell was your National BeefWire stick-out sale of the day. Look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central, and you see your best tested weights. 356 head of 5-weight steers in Russell, Iowa, average 574 at $323.20. 484 head of 6-weight steers, average 651 at $306.76. Wow. How about 357 head of 7-weight steers in Russell, Iowa? Average weight on those 746 at $271.24. And 308 head of 8-weight steers in Russell, Iowa had a weighted average weight of $845, weighted average price of $244.85. A couple of groups of heifers. 423 head of the 5-weight heifers in Russell, Iowa, average 557 at $282.99, and 403 head of 6-weight heifers. Russell Livestock Market in Russell, Iowa, weighted average weight 647, weighted average price $253.62. About some individual quotes from all around. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock, another DVAuction broadcaster there. They sell 290 head, or 5 loads of big steers, weighed 916, 1 whack, 1 owner, 1 buyer, bring 247. I had my buddy Jacob Massey out there from the LMA's World Livestock Auctioneer Championship. He's been going around all over the country and doing guest auctioneering there. He was at Sioux Falls Regional, and he absolutely could not believe what he was seeing there. How about Faith, South Dakota, Faith Livestock Auction? They sell 75 steer calves, weighed 499 or 500 pounds at $345. Ted Baum and the Baum family there at Elgin, Nebraska. That's eastern Nebraska now, guys. Elgin Livestock Sales in Elgin, Nebraska sells 80 steers, weighed 817 at $267.50. Wow. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri. That's my buddy Jack Harrison's sale. He has good sales all the time. He had the top quote for the day. 68 steers, weighed 700 pounds smooth, and bring 302. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.